Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest in the heart of Europe. I hope everybody has had a fantastic week and looking forward to a great weekend. In this class, we are looking at the IELTS reading section, some effective strategies. We're using an academic IELTS reading passage. But for general IELTS students, that's kind of the same as your Section 3 reading passage, so these strategies will work in your general IELTS exam. Also, these lessons are coming from aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Check us out at aehelp.com. And for the general version of the exam, do check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's general IELTS help.com. On both of these websites, we have loads of great materials for you. And today we do have a coupon discount code for you in this class as well. Use R4TYJ on the websites. I'll show you where. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. Click that red button. When you do, you'll be presented with the checkout form, and you want to use the coupon code here with this blue button. So again, you can do the same for the general version with the green background at gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button and then use the coupon code for today. Again, that coupon code is a 20% discount from our premium package, R4TYJ, where you'll get over 100 hours of HD video lessons, a fully interactive course, and lots of practice exams. Hi, Rajamanikam Azumalai. Welcome to our group of YouTube members. That's fantastic. Make sure to send me an email to get your exclusive videos. My email address, students, is Adrian, Adrian, at aehelp.com. If you have questions about our products or about the exam, you can always send me an email there. And I see we have lots of members coming in. Hi, Shruti. Hi, Pavan. Hi, Ekstan. Hi, Amira. And hi again, Rajamanikam. I hope I'm kind of pronouncing that nice long name correctly. Hi, Ferdovs. Fantastic. This is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. In 90 minutes, we will have an all chat class where everybody can join the chat, which will focus on speaking part 2. Students, you can get our exam books from Amazon also in digital or paperback version. Search your Amazon for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS. Hi, Charlie. Nice to see many members joining in on this class. So again, today reading followed by speaking, and then more classes tomorrow and on Sunday this week. All right. We'll get right into it. Looking at reading passage 3 from exam number 5 today. And notice that we have a list of headings question here, which we will go through together and solve. And I will give you strategies for that list of headings question as well. Members, what's the first step? So when you're in the reading section and you have figured out which passage to start with, the one that seems like the easiest topic for you, then what do you do? What is step number 1? So some of our longer time members should know this from previous classes. What is your first step? So step number 1. As soon as you get to your reading and you decide on which passage to start with. Step 1, always this first step to get those higher band scores. Okay. Yekstan, yeah, I'm sure some of the vocabulary will be the same in your actual IELTS, but it's always a different topic, so you will have some unique vocabulary for sure. Okay, so Ferdov says, read the headline topic and visualize. Ferdovs, the correct word that you're looking for is read the title. It's just simply called the title. The title. Amira, same thing, not the topic. It's called the title. That's the accurate English word there. So read the title visualize, see the information, think critically, which means what, why, how, and thereby you predict the information. And that's correct, okay? Raja Manikam, you're not looking for keywords yet. No, that will not help you at this point, or not help you significantly anyway. All right, so let's do that. Let's look at the title. And we have a picture. And pictures should always remind you to visualize, to try to see the information that you're going to read. That's right, Shruti. Critical thinking is essential at this stage. So the title here is Mirages. Okay, and then we have a picture here, and the picture is showing a large desert with the sky, and then what looks like some rocks and maybe some water here in the distance. So in this case, the title is Mirages. Now, we're visualizing this, and then, of course, we're asking the what, why, how. So what is a mirage? And why do they exist, and how does it work? So what is this? Why does it exist? And how does it work? Okay, give me some answers, students, to the best of your knowledge. Okay, that's all you can do, is think to the best of your knowledge. Maybe the topic's familiar for you. Maybe it's close to your major. You study geography or psychology. Maybe not. So maybe you only have a little information, but that's okay. Even if you just have a little information about this, gather it, collect it, get your mind moving, okay? So Yextan says it's the delusion of the existence of water, okay? I like that. That's nice, Yextan. Okay. And some of you are saying that it's light reflection. That's also good. I like it. Good job. Charlie says it's maybe a hallucination as well. Okay, perhaps. Pavan says it's an illusion. That's a good word. Okay, so it seems like there's water in the distance. Yeah, great. Amira says there's a water image on the horizon, but it's not really there. Good. Okay, all of those are good. Why does it exist? So don't just stop at the what. The what is a good start, but definitely one of the most important steps in the beginning when you're doing this quickly in the first 1 to 2 minutes is don't just stop with the what question, but move to the why question. So why do we have this delusion or illusion or hallucination of water in the distance? And I think, Charlie, you're kind of close to it with saying that it's light reflection. Okay? So Shruti says it's due to temperature. Okay? Maybe. But that's a good idea. All right? Charlie says it's the different temperatures in the air level. So due to temperature differences in the air. And again, if you have this knowledge, fantastic. If not, that's okay. Carissa, congratulations on completing your IELTS exam. I will keep both of my fingers crossed in hopes that you get a nice high band score. Okay? All right. So Amira says it's the reflection of the sky in very hot weather. Okay? All right, now for all of you clever ones out there, let's take it one step further. So how does that actually happen? Okay, so there's a reflection of light, something to do with temperature, with heat, the sky, the earth. But why do we see water, right? So how does that work? Give me an example. When you think about how does it work, think about examples, okay? So think of common examples. What are common examples of Mirages. And Rajveer says, it's in the desert on hot days. Okay, so Rajveer, for the how, when you're thinking about the how, reflecting on the title, then what you want to do is a person in the desert sees water in the distance. Okay, and that's good. That's kind of what this picture is showing here, right? So in the reading passage, the picture shows this concept of this hot desert terrain with water in the distance. Okay, always push yourself one step further. Do you ever see it anywhere else other than the desert? So do you ever see a mirage in other places, not in the desert, but somewhere maybe else? Okay. Think about that. So always think outside the box, students. That will help you to pick up a couple of extra points in the exam. The IELTS exam at Band 8, Band 9 is testing clever thinking, meaning thinking outside of the box. So incorporating. Yeah, so Charlie says in the summertime on a long drive. Very good. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So, yeah, long journey in the car. You see it on the road as well, right? So, when you're driving along and you have a nice straight stretch of highway or asphalt, then suddenly you see, hey, it looks like there's water on the road, but maybe not. Okay, good. So, that's what you're doing. So, that's your step number one. What's step number two? So, you've gathered all this wonderful information to help you understand the passage. What is step number two? What do you do next? After you have gathered as much information as quickly as possible using the title and hopefully a picture if you have it. And then step number two, and I am hoping many of our members are typing this right now, look at the questions, right? Review questions that contain information from the passage and skip questions that have extra or false information. Right. Okay. And Amira is saying paraphrase while you do that. Very good, Amira. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Okay. So when you review questions that are contained in the passage, then you should actually review and paraphrase questions, because that's what the examiners or the exam is doing, is it's paraphrasing between the questions and the content in the passage. Absolutely. So here we go. Let's go back to our first set of questions here. So our first set of questions is a list of headings. With the list of headings, should I review this before I read the passage, or should I just skip this question? So is this a good one to read before the passage or not? What do you think? Yay or nay? This one is helpful to read before the passage or confusing to read before the passage? Let's see if anybody is in class today that's had some information about this. Ferdov says, read it. Amira agrees. Yextan says, definitely, absolutely. Okay, so list of headings, you'll notice when you're practicing, it doesn't matter if you're using our exam books or Barron's exam books or Cambridge exam books, you'll see that list of headings is always given before the passage, because the examiners want you to read it before the passage. Why? Why? That's a really important question here. So why should you review this and paraphrase this before the passage? Why do the examiners want you to read this before the passage? What's the logic here? Okay. There's two good answers to that question. Yextan says because all of the information is in the passage. Yextan, in this rare case, in this exception, it's not true, okay? Because you don't use all of the headings. So notice that here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 possible choices, but I think we only have 6 paragraphs. So there's almost twice as many possible answers. So there's definitely 5 wrong answers here, or 5 confusing pieces of information. So then why would you read list of headings before the passage, even though you're reading 5 pieces of confusing information? What do you think? So this is a unique question. That's why I always emphasize this, okay? There's something different here from other questions. Let me tell you what that is. Maybe you'll figure that out, okay? So because this type of question you answer while you read. Okay? Now that also gives you another really valuable tip or strategy, that other questions you should not be answering while you read. Okay? This is the only one that you answer while you read. And I'm sure this is a shocking and new piece of information for many students, because unfortunately a lot of classes and information online is wrong, and it tells students to search and skim read for answers. But if you're looking for those band 7, band 8, band 9 scores, that's not effective, okay? So these other questions that are coming at the end, let's take a look at those, okay? So here we have some completing short answers, right? So there's 2 words, or maximum 2 words, missing from the space here. This type of question and all the other 10 different types of questions, like this classification question or this multiple choice type question, all of these you answer after the passage, okay? The examiners, or the people who make the exam, they didn't lose their mind and put those ones after the passage and the list of headings before the passage for no reason, okay? There's logic to the way they make the exam. And the only question that you get before the passage is the list of headings. The primary reason, the number one reason the examiners do that, is because they want you to answer those questions while you read. All the other questions, especially for high-level students, they want you to complete after you read the passage. And yes, you have to read the passage. There's absolutely no real way, outside of some lottery-level luck, to search and answer questions with the text without reading. Okay? Does that make sense? So list of headings, the only question given before the passage, because you answer them while you read. All of the other questions you should be answering after you read the passage. Is that clear, the logic? I know it seems maybe a bit confusing, but that's exactly what the exam designers or makers want you to do, and it's logical to do it that way. Okay, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. If the examiners wanted you to answer this while you're reading, they would put it in the beginning, but that would be really confusing, okay? Because maybe the answer for this comes from 2 different paragraphs after you read, all right? So that's the number one reason. And then the other reason, I saw a couple of you say that, Ferdov said it, he said it's helpful. Yeah, so the second reason that you want to read list of headings before the passage is because this question will help you understand the information and answer other questions. Okay, so that's the second reason. So reason number 1, because you answer while you read. Reason number 2, because it helps you with other questions and understanding. All right. So now with these list of headings questions, as Amira correctly put it, it's very important to paraphrase. Okay. Make sure to paraphrase these choices while you read. Let's practice that a little bit, members. So let's go back to our list of headings, and let's try to paraphrase these as much as possible. So windows, mirrors, and hallucinations. What other way is there to say that? So maybe something like glass, reflection or reflect, and hallucinations, visions. Okay, so here I'm just using kind of synonyms. Okay, try this one here without my help. So how the brain processes mirages. Members, give me some different ways to express the same concept. Think about synonyms, think about grammar, think about antonym negatives, think about descriptions. So there's lots of different ways to paraphrase a sentence. Give me another way to express this concept, how the brain processes mirages. Let's see what you come up with. Meanwhile, I'll do the next one. Temperature gradients, heat differences. Okay, and again, your goal here is to do it as best as you can. So it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be the same as what I'm saying. It's just as well as you can. Here you can think of Fahrenheit, Celsius, okay? And if you don't know the words, then that's okay. Just move to the next one. Do as many as you can. Okay, while I'm waiting for this answer, I'll keep going here. So filmable, but ultimately up to the mind. Filmable means can be captured on video. Okay, so can be captured on video is a definition of filmable, but ultimately up to the mind. However, in the end, the brain decides. Okay, so mind is brain. Now, this helps me paraphrase here, right? Because I just realized, wait a second, another way to say brain is mind, okay, or thinking. Mahesh says how the brain works in different conditions. So how the brain processes mirages, how the mind works in different conditions. Sure, Mahesh, that'll work. Why not? Okay, that'll work. Yexton says the way the intellect processes images. The way the brain or the intellect is another way to say mind, intellect processes, understands images. Okay, that could be one. So the way the intellect understands images, how the brain processes mirages. Okay. Ferdov says, what makes the brain see illusions? Yeah, Ferdov's very good. So what makes the brain see illusions? Not illuminate, but illusions, Ferdov's is the word that you're looking for. Pavan, really nice. Pavan says, the way the mind determines the illusion. Okay, good. So notice from your peers that there are many ways. Even though some people are thinking, well, how do I paraphrase something like how the brain processes mirages? But then you look at what your classmates are writing, and they're great. Pavan, I'm not sure why you retracted that paraphrase, because it was a very good paraphrase, okay? So here we have a common experience of a mirage. We'll just read these. You can practice more paraphrasing at home in your own time. A common experience of a mirage, the need for water, the cause of mirages, true hallucinations, an adventurer sees something, the difference between two phenomenon, and the fallible human mind. Okay, good. Yextan says we could say the demand for H2O instead of water. Everything in and around you can be paraphrased, okay? There is no such sentence or word virtually that you cannot say at least one other way. So always practice your paraphrasing. Okay, let's look at the other questions now, determine whether we should read them, and then we'll go through the passage together, read it, and answer. So here we go, members. This is completing the information in the sentences, definitely in the passage, so we read it. Again, this is a reading class, so for all of our viewers, make sure to read and follow with me, okay? Read nice and loud. Mirages are created by that fool the mind. Differences in air are the cause of mirages. The pool of water seen in the distance is of the sky. Now, you did some really good critical thinking, so you might realize, hey, this might be reflection. Okay, one of you already said that. So that's probably correct, but don't get ahead of yourself. So don't say, okay, that's for sure. In the real exam, what I would do if I think, oh, I don't even need to read, I can figure this one out. What I would do is I would write it in small above, reflection. But I would leave this space open just in case it's a different answer while I'm reviewing, okay? Absolutely, Pavan, and that was really a good paraphrase, okay? All right, so small letters above the space because you have a good idea. You don't need to search for it, but leave the space open. Okay, number 35, we interpret the mirage as water and not a mirror because the mind makes an something from its past experiences. What letter will start this answer? Okay, number 35. What letter starts this answer? Bonus question. It's a good one. For those of you who are really studious and focusing on all these strategies. Charlie says I. Yextan says maybe an A. We don't know. It could be an A, it could be an I, an O, a U, or an E, right? Pavan says, girls, guys, it's a vowel. Yeah, absolutely. So a vowel, okay? So you already know that this word has to be a vowel because you have an here, okay? And when you have the article an, we know that that word must begin with a vowel. So that gives us a little bit of help, okay? Always pay attention to those little details. Yeah, those are called vowels, okay? Now here we have a classify the following facts as applying to mirages or hallucinations. Again, this information is all in the passage, so you can read this. They are fictitious. They can be caught on camera. Fictitious, of course, is unreal. Okay, so not real, unreal. They are unreal. They can be caught on camera. Now here, we had a word in the list of headings. Anybody remember what that word was? Another way to say catch on camera. And then here, 38, they are a product of the mind interpreting unfamiliar, contradictory phenomena. So they are a product of the mind interpreting unfamiliar, contradictory phenomena. So again, paraphrasing is vital. Anybody remember caught on camera from the list of headings? They used the paraphrase. I paraphrased it another way. Yeah, very good. Filmable, right? So if I make this connection here, caught on camera and filmable, then which one do you think it is? Mirages or hallucinations? So here you can already guess the answer. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If you have really good critical thinking students, you can actually answer about 50% of the questions in the reading and in the listening without the information, just from the question logic. Okay? So many of you are saying that's got to be a mirage. Yeah. So A, not B. Careful, Yextan, not B. If I can catch it on camera, it's probably a mirage and not a hallucination because this passage is about mirages, and one of the list of headings says that it's filmable. So it's very likely a mirage, right? So again, what I would do in the real exam, if I sat it tomorrow and got this reading passage, is I would kind of put an A here, just like I wrote above the line, but then leave it open. So I wouldn't put that in my answer key yet. I'd leave that open and then say, okay, it's probably A, but I'll leave it open. All right? Okay. So logic can really help you pick up some extra scores to get some higher band scores. Okay, multiple choice. Never read this part here. So never read the answer choices because 3 of the 4 are false. So you are really wasting time. You might not even need to read any of those extra 3 because you can get it right away from your first look. So with the multiple choice, only read the question. Why do we see the image on the road as a puddle of water? So why do we see the image on the road as a puddle of water? So only read that. Don't read the choices. That's waste of time and confusing. And then number 40, why can't a person unsee a mirage? Okay, good. All right, so far so good. Now, let's get into reading. So read the passage at a nice, comfortable pace, and let's answer those list of headings questions. All right, here we go. So, read with me, members, viewers, nice and loud. A man is walking in a desert in dire need of water. Up ahead, he sees what seems to be a lake or a pond. Excited, he runs towards the source of water. He gets closer, but the water disappears. He looks again, and the water reappears. But it is in the distance once again. He runs once more, but his efforts are futile. The water is not there. Okay, so this is paragraph A. Now, to give the correct answer for the list of headings, what should I do? So what should I do? This is the most important step to improve your list of headings score. Okay. So after you read each paragraph, ask yourself, what is paragraph A about in this case? And then give the answer. Okay. So, so Charlie says make your own heading, but it basically means answer the question, what is the paragraph about? And the key word here is what, not the example, not which words seem difficult, but ask yourself, what is the paragraph about? So what is this paragraph A about? The one that I just read. What is it about? Remember, there's a man in the desert. He sees water in the distance. He's very thirsty. He gets close to it. The water's not there. He looks in the distance. There's more water there, but again, it's in the distance. So what is this about? No, it's not about a mirage. We're not talking about the mirage here, Yextan, per se. Who is the subject of this paragraph in this case? If you're having difficulty thinking this way, this is another question you can ask yourself. What is the subject of the paragraph? Because that's what the paragraph is about. Okay? And in this case, what is the subject, or who is the subject of this paragraph? Okay? Yeah, so Pavan says it's about a person getting fooled in the desert. Okay? Yeah, I agree, Pavan. Yeah, Mahesh, very good. So Mahesh says it's about a man. Yeah, Amira, very good. So it's a thirsty man in the desert, right? Who's seeing these images. All right, so now we have this answer, and you need this answer to be accurate. This is what you practice at home, is getting these accurate answers, okay? So the more accurate your answer, the closer you will match to the list of headings choices. So it's a person getting fooled in the desert, a man thirsty in the desert. That's what that first paragraph is about, okay? Don't think about the whole passage, just think about this paragraph. So now we match. Okay? Which one of these choices is the closest match to our answer of the thirsty man in the desert who is getting fooled? Okay? Which one is the closest match? What do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11? What would be your answer on this exam? Let's see if most of us agree for this answer. Ferdov says 9 or 11. Amira says 9. Pavan says 11. Charlie Sen says 9. Yextan says 11. All right. Let me ask you this. What's the subject in number 9? So, subject. What's the subject in number 9? What's the subject here? So what are we talking about in number 9? What are we talking about in number 11? Okay, let's start with number 9. So what's the subject in number 9? So Ferdov says the subject in number 9 is adventurer. Okay, because you have the ER, it means it's a person on an adventure, right? So adventurer means a person on an adventure. And then Ferdov says in this one, the subject is the mind. And you're absolutely right, okay? Human mind. The human here is not the subject, okay? Human here is an adjective. The mind is the subject because the mind is the noun. So human mind together, you can say is the subject, but the mind is the subject, right? Shruti, okay, careful not to confuse your adjectives. This is an adjective, okay? This is the noun, so this is the subject. Mind is the subject, not human, okay? So be really careful with your adjectives and your nouns, okay? All right, so now that I know the subject here is an adventure and the subject here is mind, which one do you think is the better answer? Let's see if everybody can agree now on the correct answers. So anybody want to change their answer to 9 or 11? So Ferdov says, well, it's got to be 9 then, because adventurer would be the man in the desert, right? Ferdovs, I bet that's your logic. If we were in the same room, I bet you'd be nodding your head going, yep, Adrian, that's right. I realize that that's the one. Thanks, Ferdovs. Makes me feel even more real. Ferdov says, yeah. Pavan agrees that it's 9. Okay, yeah, definitely. So the subject here is adventurer. And if we look at my answer here, a person getting fooled, then here it's also a person, right? So person, adventurer, that has to be, okay? So careful with the way you interpret the choices. The subject has to match, okay? I'll even make a note of that so that you remember this when you get to these questions, okay? The subject between your answer and the answer choice must match. Otherwise, there's confusion, right? Otherwise, you didn't understand something about the paragraph. It's only logical. Okay? So keep that in mind. So you choose the closest match and you move on. Okay? You want to be nice and smooth when you're doing this. Okay? All right. Let's go to paragraph B and practice some more. Sounds like fun? Like a good time? Building your communication and critical thinking skills for the IELTS exam should help you a lot in other aspects of life, such as work and school and even family life as well. So it's good practice. All right, here we go, everyone. Let's read together. B. The man is not going mad. In fact, there's nothing wrong with him or his vision at all. What he has seen is called a mirage. Mirages are optical illusions caused by atmospheric conditions which play tricks on the brain's visual system. Importantly, they are not hallucinations. Hallucinations are fabrications, while mirages are a result of a phenomenon in the real world. Another way to look at the difference between hallucinations and mirages is that mirages will be seen by any observer. Hallucinations, conversely, exist only in the mind of the person hallucinating. Okay, what is this paragraph about? What is paragraph B about? So again, we read it, we asked the question, what is paragraph B about? Give me an answer for that one. Mahesh, Shruti, Yekstan, Firdavs. What do you think? Amira, what is it about? Carissa, if you're still here, even though you did the exam. So Mahesh says, well, the obvious answer here is the difference between a mirage and a hallucination, right? Okay, yeah, I agree. Seems right. One way, that it becomes obvious is when you have this end and start, stop with the same word. So called a mirage, mirages are. They are not hallucinations, hallucinations are. Okay, so you see those doubling of the words mirage and hallucinations in those sentences, and then of course you have that comparison. So that's quite accurate to say that it's the difference between these two. So which one do you think is the best answer? Okay, so again, let me know what you think is the correct answer for this one. Just give me the number. Let's see how many of you pick out what I'm picking out. Yeah, very good. We seem to have a unanimous vote here. So the difference between two phenomena. Phenomena is plural for phenomenon. Okay, so phenomena, plural for phenomenon. And of course, one phenomenon is mirage. The other phenomenon is hallucination. So that one makes sense. Yeah, so here, look at that. We have X for paragraph B. That gives you confidence that you're doing it right. Okay, they give us this answer. Your answer matches with the given answer. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep going. So remember for A, it was 9, right? And for B, it's 10. Okay? All right, let's see what paragraph C holds in store for us. Continue reading with me. While the man walking in the desert anecdote is a popular mirage narrative, the most common mirage in everyday life actually takes place on long, straight, flat highways on hot, sunny days. Hey, that's what we thought of when we were doing our critical thinking. Driving along such a highway on such a day, it is common to see what looks like a puddle of water in the road in the distance. But once that point is reached, the puddle is gone and is instead located further in the distance. What's going on here? What's that about? What's paragraph C about? Okay. So what is paragraph C about? So it says, well, it's popular for people to know about this, water in the distance in the desert. We usually see mirages on warm, sunny days. So Firdavs says, one more example of mirages. Yeah, very good, Firdavs. You're on the right track. So Firdavs says, a something example of mirages. And you're close, Firdavs. You're very, very close to what I would be thinking. Very good. So Amira says it's a common sense of a mirage. Yeah, the road, right? So this is descriptive paraphrasing. The road, the water on the road, describes the most frequent situation of a mirage, right? Right? Most of us don't hang out in deserts and see water in the distance, but most of us do take drives on hot days on long roads where we see this mirage in the distance, right? Okay. So, which one matches? Which one of these do you think is closest to this frequent mirage situation? Pull that down a little bit more. So, frequent mirage situation. Any of those match to what you were saying this paragraph is about? And we have a unanimous number 5 here. A common experience of a mirage. Yeah, which is what? Which is seeing the water in the distance in the road on these days. Right. Absolutely. Joanne Justy, very good. Joining in. Excellent. So, here we have our answer number 5. Okay, we're halfway done. We're doing great. And again, once you practice this, viewers, members, you'll get really fast at it and you'll get very accurate. So when you practice this strategy that I'm showing you for list of headings, your speed and accuracy increase. So you'll save time in your reading passages and you'll increase your answers and or correct answers and your band score. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, let's go to D. Here we go. Read with me. The cause of mirages is the difference in heat between the ground and the air. Tarmac, the surface material of highways, can get very hot in the summer and release heat, raising the temperature of the air immediately above the tarmac. The air higher up is much cooler, so there's a sharp temperature gradient or rate of change in the air above the highway. It is known from physics that light is refracted or bent differently through air at different temperatures. The sharp temperature gradient in the summer air immediately above the highway causes the light rays to bend upwards towards the cooler, denser air. Because the human visual system interprets all light rays as being straight, which is generally true, or which in general is true, we interpret these bent rays as originating from the ground. What is seen on the road in the distance is simply a reflection of the sky on the ground, which from afar looks precisely like a puddle of water in the middle of the road. What is this paragraph about? So D, what is it about? What do you think? Yeah, so Charlie Sen says the scientific reason behind a mirage. Yexton simplifies it and says it's the cause of a mirage. I like it, Yexton. Simple is beautiful. All right. Any of these choices match? So any of these match to Yexton, what Yexton's saying. So Yexton's saying it's cause of a mirage. Scientific explanation for a mirage is very good, Amira, as well. Same with Charlie. So any of these match? Kind of have a little smile going here. Okay. You should definitely get this correct because Yexton has a perfect match except for the word the, right? If you have a perfect match, students, choose that one, please. Please do not choose a different answer when what your answer is matches perfectly with the answer provided, okay? So here, there is no way you should be choosing anything else, especially if you're Yexton, than 7, because what you just answered and the correct answer is a perfect match. And that will happen when you practice this strategy enough. Okay? In fact, I've seen that happen with students where students send me an email and go, Adrian, I practiced that strategy and now half of my answers are the exact same as the list of headings choice. Okay? So that's your ultimate goal. That's what should happen. All right, students, we're a bit short on time, so let's read the rest of this passage and then you can do the remainder at home. So here we go. Read with me. That humans see the phenomenon as a puddle of water is not a coincidence, however. It is the result of a rapid problem-solving process in the brain which attempts to make sense of conflicting phenomenon. Since humans are not accustomed to seeing non-straight light rays, the brain must make sense of them as best it can. Water on the highway is not the only explanation for what the mind sees ahead. A window pane or a mirror may be on the road instead. If there was a large mirror on the road, for example, the visual phenomenon would be identical. The driver would see a reflection of the sky on the road in the distance. So why is that we always interpret the mirage as water on the road and not a mirror in the road or something else? It is because the brain, without consciously thinking, makes the best inference it can. The average person in their catalog of experiences does not have a real non-mirage experience of seeing a mirror in the middle of a highway. Conversely, the average person does have a real experience of seeing a puddle on a highway. Any sufficiently rainy day will produce this effect. The brain compares the probabilities of these two and other possibilities and concludes that the phenomenon must be a puddle of water. Knowing that the water is not, in fact, there does nothing to dispel us from the visual impression that water is on the highway. The brain's visual machinery is not subject to the logic of the rest of the brain. No matter how hard a person tries to unsee the mirage, it will always be there. All right. Conclusion. Interestingly, mirages can actually be captured on film because the refracted light rays really are forming an image on the road. What the false image is mistaken for, however, is entirely up to the interpretation of the human mind. Members, solve those last couple paragraph list of headings on your own, as well as the short answer, categorization, and multiple choice answers. Send them to me by email, and I'll send you back the correct answer key. Okay? And for all of you who are watching today, again, you can get our premium IELTS courses at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com today with a discount, 20% off. Use code R4TYJ, R4TYJ on our websites. This is gieltshelp.com. Click that red button to join. And with the blue background is aehelp.com. Click this red button to join us there. And again, use that code to access all of our videos, practice exams, and interactive courses and applications for your phone and tablet today with that, okay? Good job, students. Remember, mastering list of headings questions in this strategy takes practice. Practice being the key word here. And in 30 minutes, I will discuss more about speaking part 2 cue card with an original example. Hopefully you will tune in. Hopefully I will see you there, Joanne, Pavan, Amira, Firdavs, Mahesh, and many more of our current viewers. Bye for now from Budapest in Hungary.